Bless the Lord, everybody. Bless the Lord, everybody. We're glad that you are joining us for our Young Adult Friday Night Live, our beginning of Young Adult Weekend. We welcome you for joining us on today. And we're just going to start with a song of praise. You can join us at home, but we're going to worship the Lord. And this song says, "Arise, O God, and take your place, and let your kingdom be established." Sing this song with us. Come on now. Bless the Lord with us. Clap your hands. You can clap it at home, or you can clap it if you're in the sanctuary. We're just going to worship the Lord together. For the Bible says, "For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised." We're going to lift up the Lord with the timbrel and dance. Come on, y'all. Say, "Arise." Come on. Arise, O God, and take your place. Let your kingdom be established. O ancient of days. Why? You are good, and your mercy endureth forever. Let's take that up. You know the song. Sing it with us. Come on, y'all. Say, "Arise, arise, O God, and take your place. We enthrone you with our worship, and we glorify your name. You are good, and your mercy endureth forever." Let's take it up. Come on. You know the song. Sing it with me. Praise. Say, "Arise, arise, O God, and take your place." We are standing on your promise. The just shall live by faith. You are good, and your mercy endureth forever. Come on, go take it one more time. Sing it with, say, "Arise, arise, O God, and take your place." We have come to give you glory. We've come to give you praise. Come to give you. Come on, you are good, and your mercy endureth forever. Come on, you know the song. Come on with us. Clap your hands. Get on your feet, because the Lord has been good. Has God been great to you? Did he wake you up this morning? And did he start you on your way? Did he place food on your table? I know that God is good. Come on, praise him right here. You are good, so good. I like that. Come on, you can do it at home. Come on, say, "You are good. You are good, so good." You sound pretty good at home. Come on, say, "You are good, so good, real good, still good. You are good, so good, real good, still good." We'll do it one more time. Come on. You are good, so good, real good, still good. Come on, you are good, so good, real good, still good. Come on, still good, 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 still good. Let's take it out. Come on, say, you are good, and your mercy endureth forever. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise his name.
Not caring what people think will be the best choice you ever make. Bro, this whole I want to be popular stuff is basic. I I know you see the cool kids. They dress fresh, they get the attention, they turning up, they going to parties, and you want to be like them, right? Keep it 100. Sometimes you feel like you're not enough, right? Well, I'm telling you, you are enough. You were born original. Don't you dare die a copy. You were born to stand out. Stop trying to fit in. Popularity does not mean quality, but I get it. I get it. See, in this crazy world we live in, it has no chill. Some people are loved for being fake, and others are judged for being real. But you have to be real. Never stop. Because it's better to be hated for who you are than liked for who you're not. So what if you don't fit in? So what if you're not perfect? Do you know how diamond experts can tell if a diamond is real or worthless? See, the fake diamonds are perfect. The real ones have flaws. And just like that, fake people appear perfect. Real people make mistakes and have flaws. And let me tell you this, the coolest people don't care about being cool. The people who care about being cool are the saddest. When they go home, they're not happy with who they are. Because see, popularity is when other people like you. True happiness is when you like you. See, me and you, bro, we got the same story. See, I was that shy kid. There was nothing I wanted more than for people to like me, but it didn't happen. And I would always think like why? Why can't more people like me? And then it dawned on me. See, sometimes the universe has to protect you from what you think you want. See, me not being popular gave me time to work on me. And when I worked on me, everything changed. When I had the courage to be me, people started coming to me. See, I found out that I was enough already. And just like that, you are enough already. See, nobody has lived your life. Nobody can tell your story. So pick your head up. Don't dim your light so that others don't have to squint. Don't hide your shine underneath the shade. Don't trade your dignity for popularity. You may not be popular now, but you will be great one day. Right now, you may not be well known, but one day you will be worth knowing. So keep focusing on you. And don't worry about what these people think, mainly because most people don't think. Most people will judge you based on an opinion from somebody else. They treat these people like coupons and cut them out of your life. Leave them on red. It's time to focus on you. You may not see it now, but in 5 years, none of this popularity stuff is gonna matter. See, popularity ends on yearbook day. What you build and who you become will last the rest of your life. So don't let them write your story. You keep caring about what people think, you will forever be their slave. And you're stronger than that. So never forget who you are, because it is who you are that makes you great.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Now, if you yourself are dealing with low confidence, then I have a free gift that I want to give to you. See, these are my top 10 confidence hacks that I know that you can use today and have confidence forever. These are strategies that I use personally, and I'm giving them away to you for free. All you need to do is go to 10confidencehacks.com and watch the free video. Peace.
Hello, my name is Brianna Harris, and I'm with New Covenant SDA Church. I'm over the health ministries for the youth and young adult, and I am here with Josiah Taylor and Adriana, and we are going to talk about peer pressure. We're going to talk about peer pressure, and peer pressure can be direct or indirect influence on you. Sometimes it's noticeable. Oftentimes, it's not noticeable until it's harming you or somebody you love. So we're here to talk about a few causes and effects and a few solutions of peer pressure. And I'm going to be asking a couple of questions. Okay. So peer pressure is also called peer influence. I'm going to ask some questions as well. So AJ, I'm going to start with asking you a question. My question to you is, how do you feel like we can navigate through peer pressure?
I think that peer pressure is something that's really difficult in our days. And so a good way is just to keep a head forward and not worry about anything around you. And so I guess, yeah, I guess keep a straightforward face and like navigate around it.
All right, Josiah. Question to you. Same question is, how do you feel like we can navigate through peer pressure?
I guess it depends on the peer pressure. So I guess we're looking at it from a negative sense, right? Typically. So from a negative sense, since I have been through a lot of peer pressure, I'm going to college and everything. I think one way to do it is you have to first, I guess, know who you are and know like what you stand for, and also it kind of starts at home. I think if you look at it from like a family perspective, you kind of have to raise your kids in a quote unquote right way, but let them know what right and wrong is. You have to know what your values are, like what you're willing to do and not do. Because if you don't know that, then it's easy for you to be influenced by people, and it's easy for you to, as you're on your self-discovery journey, like a lot of us were in college or in high school, wherever you are. A lot of us, we find ourselves going through different paths, and it's easy to get influenced by people around you. So if you're not solid in who you are and like what you stand for and what you believe, it's really easy to do anything and everything that people are doing around you. So first you have to be solid and firm in who you are and what you believe in yourself.
Okay. And can you also introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yeah. So my name is Josiah Taylor. I'm a science major. I'm an Oakwood University graduate with a political science Bachelor of Arts. Currently, I work at Memphis Athletic Ministries, so I'm a full-time youth coordinator. I work with at-risk youth or in the Orange Mound Bethel Grove community. Before, I worked with Hamilton High School students in the same ministry, Memphis Athletic Ministries. So yeah, I'm full-time now working with Memphis Athletic Ministries. It's a faith-based program that uses sports and the gospel to reach kids here in Memphis. So that's what I do full-time.
All right, Adriana, what do you do?
Oh, well, I'm Adriana Gaddy. I am an Oakwood graduate as well, and I am now a kindergarten teacher. Well, I graduated with child development studies, and now I'm a kindergarten teacher.
Okay. My question for you, Josiah, being that you work in the neighborhood that you work in, how do you deal with the children that you deal with? Like, how do you kind of direct them into better paths than that you can see them going down because of the area that they stay in?
That's a good question. So for me personally, relationship, that's a very big thing. I know for me, when I was at Oakwood, the biggest impact that people had on my life were the people who had a close relationship with me. It's easy to tell people what to do and like to come in and try to be a authoritative figure. But especially this generation, like COVID babies, and like I think they call them COVID babies, and I don't know what this generation is, but I work with 3rd through 8th grade now. I used to work with just high school, but specifically 3rd through 8th grade, they ask a lot of questions. Typically kids, they trust you right away. Even these kids, they've been through a lot, but they still are going to trust you because they know that you're an adult. And I was surprised at how easily they are trusting of me, but at the same time, they're also going to ask a lot of questions, and they're not going to listen to what you say. They're going to watch what you do. So it's real easy to come in and be like, oh, this is what you're going to do what I say. But if they see that the life you're living is different, if they see me treat my coworkers a different way than how I tell them to treat each other, they're not going to respect me. If they see that I don't treat women the way that I tell them to treat the girls in their class, they're not going to respect me. They'll listen to you, but they're not going to respect you deep down. So the way I try to do is to just like do what I say. And that looks like if me and my coworker get into it in front of the kids and we're like arguing, we'll play around a lot, but we'll always apologize. Apologizing to kids has been the biggest thing I think I do that actually impacts them because they're not used to adults apologizing to them and saying, hey, I was wrong, I'm sorry, forgive me, please, if you will. And then I think seeing them model, or seeing them seeing me model like that example has been very impactful for me and helpful. And I think the biggest thing is relationship, just show them you care, consistency, because a lot of them don't have consistent male figures in their life. So not to like do the stereotypical, they don't have any fathers, but a lot of them do have like inconsistent male figures. So to be like a black man in their environment, to show them love, but to also show them, you have to be able to discipline both boys and girls, because we're at after school program, so we can like make them run laps and like do push-ups if they cuss and say on G and stuff like that, you know, on God. Like it's a culture in Memphis. But when they do that, we can make them do push-ups and run. But we also can show them grace and say, hey, instead of doing 25 push-ups, do 5. Or I'll do 25 push-ups with you. It's just different things that we do that shows them, hey, this is what it looks like to lovingly discipline you in love, but I'm also not going to let you just continue to do what you're doing over and over again. So it's like showing them the gospel in like a literal way that they can understand based on their demographic and their environment. So that's what we kind of do every day.
Okay. My question for you, Asia, is what grade do you teach, and what is your goal for your kids? What is your goal for yourself and for your kids that you set every year?
So the grade that I teach is kindergarten. They're around maybe 5 or 6. And the goal that I try to incorporate in the classroom is, being yourself and, whatever that means for them. Because if children don't, if they're not themselves, they will never grow because they'll just do whatever you say, whatever. But I want them to be more, okay, of course free, but in a structured way. But I want them to feel comfortable. And so a goal that I incorporate is be yourself. There are no wrong answers, of course, structured, but there are no wrong answers, and I just want them to feel as comfortable as possible around, because that's their home away from home, so.
Okay, well, I have a few examples of peer pressure or peer influence, as you might call it. And some examples are choosing to wear the same clothes and hairstyle and jewelry as your friends, dating the same type of boys or girls as you see your friends date. Another one is working harder at school or not working as hard because you see the people around you. Another one is changing the way you talk or the words that you use. And a lot of times we see that as well, even in our friends, even in little kids, when they hang around people who are in the streets or something like that, their talk change. So it's not more of them talking like little kids. They begin to talk like grown adults. So my question for you, Josiah, do you feel like you are a good influence on the kids that you teach?
It is.
That's funny. It's interesting because I actually question that every day. Like, why does God have me working with kids? Because I'm literally crazy. But it's actually funny you ask that. I think a lot of times I do doubt that I am a good influence because I'm like, I'm not good. I'm not a good person in my eyes. Like no one's technically good. But that's a really good question because my director, she constantly reassures me that like, hey, you're not here to be perfect. You're here to show them what a loving adult looks like and what humanity looks like and what it looks like when you fully give your life to Christ, but at the same time still have your humanity. And when you still have your humanity, but you also let God lead your life. So for me, I show them what it looks like to be a realistic Christian and not like, I don't hide things from them in a sense. I don't overshare because it depends on the age group. So since now I'm working with the younger kids, I use discernment with what I share about my personal life in the past or whatever. Like I don't overshare with little kids because they'll take it. They don't know how to handle it. But I do try to be as vulnerable as possible in a sense and let them know, hey, this is what I've been through, and these are some ways that you can navigate through that. I think that's kind of answering the question. But for me, I do not feel like I'm a good example, quote unquote, all the time. But I have to constantly remind myself that that's a good thing when I feel that way because that means that I really recognize my flaws, and then I know that God Christ makes up the rest of that. So when I go to work and I'm like, man, I just said some bad words to this person that cut me off in the road, I can literally go and tell my kids, hey, this is what happened, and this is what you should do next time. Like, we literally exemplify what it looks like to be a human, but let Christ make up the difference. So that's kind of, I hope that answers the question.
It does. Okay, Asia, do you feel like you're a good influence to your students?
Yes, I do, because there are, like Josiah's, right? Josiah? Well, Josiah. Okay, like Josiah said, we are all humans and we all have faults and we all have different things that we go through each and every day. But that shouldn't get in the way of you showing someone else how to be a good person. So for me, I try my ultimate best to pattern what I say. And that is very hard, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm only 23, I'm still learning, so. Yeah, so I'm still learning, I'm only 23. I mean, it looks like I have my life, I'm a teacher and all that stuff, but there is a lot that I still have to learn, and so for me, it's just, as of right now, I wanna follow a path that I know is right and teach her and teach all of them in the class that, this is the way you should go. I'm still struggling myself, but that doesn't mean I can't help. And so for me, it's more of a stepping stone for all of us, not just, do you think you're a good role model? Because, we're all faulty. And so it's just trying to navigate through that and follow that rugged path. Although they say it's straight, it's pretty rugged. So I think that's my take on that.
Okay. I also have some results from negative peer pressure or negative peer influence. And the results are low moods, tearfulness, feelings of hopelessness, aggression or social behavior, trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, loss of appetite or overeating, and statements about wanting to give up or life not being worth living. I also have some ways around peer pressure. It's the turnaround in adulthood and youth and young adults and teenagers and even in kids, because you can also teach these to kids. And it's also, and they are to build confidence, to build self-compassion, to keep the lines of communication open, and to always know and to be able to tell everybody that it's okay to say no. Oftentimes we get judged or we feel like, we're going to seem less than what everybody is or something. And it's just to know that you are worthy. God has showed us that we're worthy. And he tells us all the time that we are worthy. And he shows us that if we do right, right will follow. And I like that. Thank you. I like that. And I have one more question. So to you, just real quick, what is the meaning of free will?
Free will?
Yes.
Good question. Okay. To me, free will is the ability to choose right and wrong. And I think that's something God gives everyone. Like, he doesn't force you to choose him, or he doesn't say, hey, I'm either choose him or you're going to die. Like, choose me or you're going to die. He literally gives us the choice to choose between, hey, we're going to choose either Christ or Satan. Like, you only have two choices. So to me, free will is the ability to be able to choose wrong, like literally to just be able to choose wrong or right. And I know that's something God gives us. So when I think of free will, I think of like literally you have the choice to make a right decision or a wrong decision, and no one's forcing you to do either or. They're giving you that freedom to do that.
All right, Asia, you as well.
Well, I agree. And so just to, piggyback on that one, I remember one time when I was a child and I was like, I want to do this, I want to do that. My mom was like, no, it's going to hurt. No, it's going to hurt you. No. And I'm like, okay, fine. Then when I grew up, I did what I wanted to do, and then it wasn't too good. And I was like, you know what? My mom told me not to do that. But you live and you learn, and then when you grow older, you have that free will, to choose, again, right from wrong. And ultimately, you don't want to be in trouble, so you choose right. But free will for me is just kind of having that option, so.
Okay, I want to thank you guys for coming out, Asia and Josiah Taylor, and thank you and join us. Thank you for joining us for this session, and watch this quick video.
Peer pressure is talked about so much that it can seem a little bit like a joke, especially when you're a teenager. But actually experiencing peer pressure can be so uncomfortable. Like, did you really want to run that 10K with your super athletic roommates? Maybe not. but they just asked so many times that it was easier to go do it than listen to them ask again. You've probably been told that to resist peer pressure, you should just say no. But surprise, that doesn't always seem to work. And neither did that DARE program that was everywhere in the 90s. Psychologically speaking, it totally makes sense that we want to give in to social norms. But that doesn't mean it's always a good thing. Thankfully, researchers have come up with some better ideas for resisting peer pressure. So the next time your roommates try and drag you on a run, you'll be prepared. Psychologists believe that we're basically hardwired to want to feel like we belong. After all, in our evolutionary past, cooperating with groups was necessary for people to survive. Because of this, social norms have a huge effect on our behavior, especially ones called injunctive norms, which tell us how society thinks we should behave in certain situations. These norms aren't necessarily bad. For example, they're part of why you'd stop at a red light or pay a friend back when they loan you money. But following them can also cause us to act in risky or dangerous ways to fit in. In an early demonstration of this effect from 1968, 58 male college students were asked to fill out questionnaires about going to an urban school. Then, while they did, the room they were in started to fill with smoke. When the participants were in the room alone, most of them went to get help. But when they were in groups, they were much less likely to, which seems pretty weird. One possible explanation for this is that the participants looked at other people's behavior to try and figure out how they should respond. If the other people didn't seem stressed by the smoke, they might have decided that it wasn't something they had to worry about. Now, this was just an experiment, but things like this happen all the time in real life. Like, imagine you're hanging out with your buddies and someone turns on the worst, most horrible sounding music you can possibly imagine. Except you don't say anything, and neither does anybody else. So you're all just sort of politely sitting there, and you might come to the conclusion that your friends actually enjoy this terrible music, and maybe you're the problem. Psychologists actually have a name for this concept: pluralistic ignorance. It's the idea that a group might feel a certain way, but nobody in the group realizes it because everyone is keeping their true feelings to themselves. Because of this, you might come to think a certain social norm exists, like that smoky rooms are totally normal, even if everybody else is secretly just as uncomfortable with the situation. Pluralistic ignorance can play a huge role in peer pressure, and psychologists have also suggested it might be a factor in the heavy drinking that often occurs on college campuses. In a 1993 study at Princeton University, researchers asked 132 undergrads how they felt about drinking. They also asked them how they thought the average student felt about it. Participants generally said that they felt less okay with heavy drinking at college than the hypothetical average student. But turns out that this was actually something a lot of people said. In other words, most people thought their peers were way more okay with heavy drinking than they actually were. Recent studies have also confirmed that pluralistic ignorance plays a role in all kinds of other situations too, from cigarette smoking and drug use to beliefs about mental health treatments. So it's not only relevant to that lecture your high school teachers might have given you before you went off to college. The nice thing is, though, this concept can also help you resist peer pressure. See, people often give in to something because they assume everyone agrees it's right. So psychologists have suggested that if you know about pluralistic ignorance, it might reduce the pressure you feel to conform with the group. And research has backed this up. In a 1998 study with 143 college students, knowing about pluralistic ignorance helped one group drink less compared to students who didn't learn about it. And a 2018 study about gender norms showed similar results. When men were shown that most people were in favor of gender equality, they were more likely to say they supported it as well, compared to groups who were told something else. While there may have been other variables at play in both of these studies, this suggests that having a little psychology knowledge in your back pocket can totally help you out in the real world. It's like having a secret window into your friends' brains. So the next time someone puts on that horrible playlist, speak up. You may find that other people were just as uncomfortable as you were, but didn't want to be the first person to admit it. Thanks for watching this episode of SciShow Psych, and special thanks to our patrons on Patreon. There's so much psychology to explore out there, and we're thankful for all of you who make it possible. If you want to help us keep making episodes like this one, you can go to patreon.com/scishow.
Good evening and welcome back, New Covenant family, whether it is you're listening or in here with me. My name is Kobe, and this evening I'll be introducing Brian Herbert. He is the Youth Associate Coordinator for our conference, and we will be having him on a video